Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to episode 18 of Extreme Evocast, an all-purpose Pokemon podcast where we talk about news, trivia, and everything related to Pokemon. The time has come. Pokemon Sword and Shield is going to be released on November 15th, this Friday, and I couldn't be more excited. And with that, I'd like to give a little bit of promotion to myself if you're listening to this before the day of release. On Friday, November 15th, I am going to be streaming Pokemon Sword on its release at midnight. And I'm going to be doing a Nuzlocke of Pokemon Sword on twitch.tv/Lillieceon. You can check that out there if you're interested. But with the final, the final days approaching, dawn of the final day, 3 days remain. I think it's only customary that we talk about a little bit of history behind the revealing of Pokemon Sword and Shield and how far we've come with how things go, how things have gone. And so today we're going to go over a little bit of history behind the upcoming release of Pokemon Sword and Shield, when it was revealed, what we saw, how much we've seen so far. And I would also like to give a little bit of a disclaimer before we get started that I am not going to be going over any of the Pokemon Sword and Shield leaks. I'm sorry to those who are excited to hear me talk about them, maybe if you were, but I'm not. Mostly because I don't want to spoil myself. Because I personally have barely seen any of them. Any of them that I have seen, I have only gotten spoiled for. And I don't want to see the leaks. I am tired of getting spoiled of things with AAA games and my favorite franchises, and I don't want to see them, so I'm not going to be talking about them because talking about them would require me to look at them. And also, I don't see, secondly, I don't want to spoil it for anyone else who maybe would like to listen to this episode and not know, and still not know any of the leaks like I am. So I am not going to be talking about Pokemon. There's the leaks of like all 70 Pokemon that came out that are like looking pretty close to being real, which I'm not excited about, but we'll see. I've barely seen any of the Pokemon, but we will see how things go. And I want to save my reactions purely for my first, my first time playing, my blind playthrough, which is what I'm going to be streaming on Friday. A little bit before we talk about the history of Pokemon Sword and Shield, we are going to talk about, we're going to do some news first, like we always do. On the topic of Pokemon Sword and Shield, this is pretty much everything I talked about today. All the news is coming from Cerebi, so thank you, Cerebi. We got some new Pokemon revealed. In Pokemon Sword and Shield, in official trailers, not any leaks. We haven't actually seen what their names are, which is interesting because they were just kind of in the background of clips of like the final Galar research thing that the Pokemon Twitter dropped today. So it looks to me to be some sort of variant of Mr. Mime, but I can't tell. I don't know. It looks like Galarian Mr. Mime, but I'm not 100% sure. He's got like a top hat, and he's got a big belly with a face on it, with a big nose, and I think that's adorable. And he's got like a cane and a wand. I don't know. He looks very silly, and I like it a lot. It's very clown-esque, and I don't know how to feel about that. But it has elements of Mr. Mime that maybe I'm looking more into than I should be, but it looks kind of like Mr. Mime. It could be some sort of Galarian Mr. Mime, maybe Galarian Mime Jr., I doubt it, but, or maybe another pre-evolution to Mr. Mime. And then we have this sort of rock snake shadow monster that I don't really know how to talk about. I mean, it just looks like a bunch of rocks that people drew on, and then like they drew a big snake on, and then got destroyed, and now is being held together by wire, and is a Pokemon. It's seen using some sort of like ghosty dark move, so it could be some sort of ghost type Pokemon. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what we know so far. That's the only two things that we know about those new Pokemon, and I'm excited to see what they are. Similarly, a new event has been announced for the U.S. on November 16th, from November 16th through November 25th. If you go to a Walmart store and open up the Pokemon Pass app, you will be able to receive a serial code to get the special tracksuit from Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's like an orangey. When I say orangey, it's like an orange, just like tracksuit, which is very cool. So yeah, if you're interested, go and you're in a Walmart before, from the 16th to the 25th, after the release of Pokemon Sword and Shield, you can get yourself a tracksuit. The event that we talked about, I believe in the last 2 episodes, the Colossal Discovery, the first paid Pokemon Go event, is now. So they announced that anyone who got the EX Raid Pass from November 9th onwards will be facing against Regigigas as their EX Raid boss. I don't think that's I actually don't think that's related to the Colossal Discovery, but it was topical. But so if you got an EX Raid Pass from November 9th onwards, you will be facing Regigigas, which is exciting. I want a Regigigas. I'm hoping. I actually haven't opened Pokemon Go in a few days. Maybe I got an. Yeah, I'm gonna open it right now and see if I got an EX Raid Pass. I'm not 100% sure. I got one last time for Deoxys, so who knows? I might get one now. Moment of truth, I suppose. Let's see. Looks like nope. That's unfortunate. Well, no harm done. It's all right. Let's continue on. So speaking of Pokemon Go, I feel like that's probably the most said phrase on this podcast. Speaking of Pokemon Go, there's, I believe, a new event that's happening right now, where you can find Ekans, Meowth, and another Pokemon coughing, I think, because it's like a Team Rocket thing. Ekans, let's see. Yeah, Ekans, Meowth, and Coughing will have increased spawns, with a shiny Meowth being available from now until November 14th. So in 2 days, one day, actually, only today and tomorrow, after releasing this podcast, will you be able to find a shiny Meowth. So get yourself a shiny Meowth. Similarly, with that, you can also find Shadow Sandshrew, Bellsprout, Wobbuffet, and Porygon, which is fun. In the Shadow Team Rocket events. And also, there's a new special research called Looming in the Shadows. I won't go over the specifics because I know people don't like to be spoiled for that. But it's a new Team Rocket Go themed thing where you can, your whole thing is to, your whole purpose is to mostly fight Team Rocket grunts and find shadow Pokemon and catch them. So that's a new special research. I'm always a big fan of the special researchers. I like the special researchers. They're very fun. So yeah, there is a new Delibird Pikachu themed Funko figure coming. It is a Pikachu next to a little snowman wearing a Delibird hat and is looking just absolutely adorable. Just so cute. Like look up this new Delibird. His face is so smug. He's looking at a snowman like, yep, I made it. You got a problem with that? No, I love it though. So it's called A Cool New Friend. And features a Pikachu with a Delibird hat next to a snowman, and will be released later this month exclusively on the Pokemon Center website. Speaking of events, there is a there is an update on the Solgaleo and Lunala shiny event that I've talked about for the past 4 episodes, I swear to God. For those of you in North America and Europe, the shiny Solgaleo and Lunala distribution is about to end. So if you haven't taken a hint from my last 3 episodes of this podcast, go get your goddamn shiny Solgaleo or shiny Lunala. In the US, it ends tomorrow at GameStop stores. When was this posted? Oh, it's already ended. It's done. It's already done. So, nope, sorry. You missed your chance. If you haven't done it after the last 3 episodes that I've talked about, sorry, you cannot get this. You cannot get this Solgaleo or Lunala anymore if you live in the U.S. or Canada. In the U.K. and Spain, it ends on Friday. Norway, Finland, and Denmark, Sweden, and Italy, it ends on Friday. France, it ends on Friday. Belgium, it ends on Friday. And in the Netherlands and in Australia, it also ends on Friday. So for those of you who live outside of the U.S. or Canada, go get yourself a shiny Solgaleo or Lunala. You still have another day. 2 more days, actually. So go get it if you are interested in that. There is a Tetris 99 Pokemon event happening. Tetris 99 Pokemon Sword and Shield tie event is now live. Nope, it's over. Man, I always miss my chance to talk about these things because I do this podcast only a few days. So, okay, here, let me change my connotation. There was a Tetris 99 Pokemon Sword and Shield event. It says until 7 o'clock UTC on November 11th, a special Tetris 99 Maximus Cup based on Pokemon Sword and Shield was playable. This features a theme on the wild area and Pokemon music. The theme can be kept by players if they achieve 100 points during the special event by ranking in various matches. Wow. Man, I need to get Tetris 99. I still haven't gotten Tetris 99. But yeah, so I'm sorry if talking about that was exciting to you. You cannot get that anymore, unfortunately. So there's there's a few new things that aren't normal Pokemon things coming or have already been released. Specifically that wild area search that I talked about a few episodes ago. The Pokemon Company released a new web app called Pokemon Wild Area Research. It allows you to explore a model of the wild area in Pokemon Sword and Shield and find various Pokemon within it. I'm going to check this out right now. If possible, it's loading. It's in Japanese. I wish it wasn't in Japanese, but we're gonna take a quick look at this right now. Okay. So while it's loading here, I'll go over the other news event while this thing is loading. You can find various Pokemon within it, and the other event is Pokemon Company have put out new details on how the Asian portals on how to activate the Dynamax crystals that are being distributed in conjunction with the Pokemon Sword and Shield Dual Pack. These Dynamax crystals, named Star and 15 and Star and 428, need you to find the giant Pokemon den in the wild area. When you find it, open a bag and use the Dynamax crystal and they'll activate the max raid battle. It also confirmed some elements about mystery gifts. With the mystery gift, if you get items, they'll be added straight into your bag. Clothing items will be available straight away at any boutique. Any BP is added when you check your lead card and Pokemon are sent to your box. So good. Mystery gifts are a little bit more interactive. You don't have to just go, or not, it's less interactive. You don't have to go to the, go to a person in the mart and check out, get your item. So we're going to check out this wild area search. Okay, I don't think this is correct. I'm playing on the Japanese website, okay, and I translated it with Google, and it says, Cormorant, this Resona. This is Idoli main represent is that the moth lally land side of the world able deet lie a. Look past to limited Rio. Fit's own natural is wide, but Sue to have been. Had Roto such species such of Poke mode emissions, where Chi the raw breath, and to have that. I don't think this is correct. But I've discovered a Pokemon. I've discovered Pikachu. Electricity mind the was, because right not resistant quality. Peak Mosquito. Ginterview, Cormorantis group is Karit Al. To the Forestus drop Thunder is absolute example. Not a crisis insurance. Okay, so this is obviously not working. I'll have to check that out another time. I discovered a Pikachu in the wild areas. It was a little model of the wild area that you could discover Pokemon in. If you haven't checked it out already, I recommend you do. I will have to check it out on my own time because I don't have a link to it. That isn't Japanese. That isn't very poorly translated, I believe. Unless that's just what it is. It's just unintelligible gibberish. We'll see. So last but not least, for our news, there is another kind of AR thing coming out called... Let me find it. Aha, okay. So, yesterday, among many elements of their AR platforms, Niantic announced a new mode to Pokemon Go named Buddy Adventures, where you could interact with your various buddy Pokemon and even have a shared AR experience across platforms with other players, supposed to be players maybe, other players showing their Pokemon. Today, Niantic sent footage out to the Japanese press thanks to 4Gamer. Here's the footage. So I'm watching it right now. And so it's, it's like an AR thing where there's a Pikachu just kind of sitting around. You can give it a berry. You can tap on it. You can pet it. So it's sort of like a Pokemon and me type situation. And I believe, here, so you can interact with other people's Pokemon. It's like other people that are around you can send out other Pokemon and send them out into the area, and you can also interact with them and take them out and have them be in the world, which is very cool. So it's sort of like an extended Pokemon and me, but for Pokemon Go, sort of like an extended version of the camera, for Pokemon Go, the AR camera, but you can interact with other people's Pokemon in real time, which is very, very cool. All right, moving on, we are going to go to the first segment of today's episode, everybody's favorite segment, where we talk about a random Pokemon every episode, random Pokemon of the week. This episode, the Pokemon on the chopping block is Herdier. Herdier is number 507. Herdier is the loyal dog Pokemon, a normal type Pokemon introduced in Generation 5. It evolves from Lillipup starting at level 16 and evolves into Stoutland at level 32. Herdier has the abilities Intimidate or Sand Rush, which I don't think I've ever heard of before, or Scrappy is its hidden ability. A 50-50 male-female ratio. It is 2'11" or 0.9 meters. It's a pretty small dog. I mean, it's a dog. What do you expect? It only weighs 32 pounds, or I almost said 114 kilograms, 14.7 kilograms. Herdier is not really super interesting, I guess. Come at me, Herdier fans, but it's just another one of those mid-stage Pokemon. Not really super interesting. I mean, I like it. Don't get me wrong, I like it. I think its design is cute. I like its little coat. I think it's an adorable Pokemon. It's just not very interesting. Herdier is Mana Ibe's favorite Pokemon. Mana Ibe is a graphic designer who's worked for the Pokemon trading card game and video game series. Wow. Ibe's first known involvement in the Pokemon franchise was in the staff of Pokemon Platinum under special thanks. Cool. Mana Ibe, everybody. She illustrated a card. Manectric. Let me see what her art looks like. Oh, wow. She's a pretty good artist. That looks really cool. Well, good job, Mana Ibe. Herdier is her favorite Pokemon. Very interesting. Very cool. Herdier. Let's look at Herdier Shiny. Herdier Shiny. Oh, man. This Pokemon is just full of... I was going to say disappointments, but that's kind of harsh. I like it. It's just Herdier. I like how its design, its fur design on its face looks like a little star. It's got the jowls or like the fluff. I mean, it's a Shih Tzu. Shih Tzus are always really, really good dogs. Or what are those dogs called? Is it a Shih Tzu? Is that the dog I'm thinking of? No. Yorkshire Terrier. Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. I love Yorkshire Terriers, and I like Herdier. But I like Stoutland and Lillipup just a little bit more. So Herdier Shiny, it's just... the dark blue on its coat just gets a little bit more gray. Green? I don't even know if you could call it green. Gray. It just kind of gets gray. Same with Lillipup. If I remember correctly, yeah, Lillipup pretty much gets the exact same treatment. See, Lillipup gets a little bit lighter, though, and Herdier stays... No, Herdier does get a little lighter. Never mind. I was wrong. Herdier gets a little bit lighter. Herdier's fur gets a little bit lighter color beige. Very, very interesting. Thank you, Herdier. I rate this shiny a 3 out of 10. And that's all I really have to say about Herdier. I was going to go and look at its Smogon page, but it has no movesets. It is not tiered and has no movesets because it is a middle evolution. But Herdier has an HP of 65, an attack of 80, a defense of 65, a special attack of 35, a special defense of 65, and a speed of 60. And yep, that is Herdier. Let's move on to the main topic of today's episode. Let's get away from the underwhelmingness that is Herdier's random Pokemon of the Week entry and talk about... Actually, you know what? No, hold on a minute. We didn't talk about Herdier's Pokedex entries, which is something I want to start doing more. Herdier's Pokedex entries. It has black cape-like fur that is very hard and decreases the amount of damage it receives. Okay, I didn't know that. What? It's like a shell? Herdier? That's from Black and White, or from Black. From White, it loyally follows its trainer's orders. For ages, they have helped trainers raise Pokemon. Interesting. That's pretty much everything. The longer its black fur grows... I would not call that black. I would say that is dark blue, but go off, I guess. The longer its black fur grows, the harder and more impervious it gets. Claws and fangs can't easily penetrate it. It has been living with people for so long that portrayals of it can be found on the walls of caves from long ago. This Pokemon obeys its master's orders faithfully. However, it refuses to listen to anything said by a person it doesn't respect. Okay, a little bit. So I'm sorry, Herdier. You know, I'm sorry for dissing Herdier. It's actually kind of interesting. I didn't know that Herdier has this like shell of like fur that is like defensive. I did not know that. That is news to me. Is that shared with Stoutland? Is there something that Stoutland has as well, or is that literally only with Herdier? I'm gonna check Stoutland real quick. Hold on. Stoutland. I know we'll be going over Stoutland in the future, but like Stoutland, its fur is long and thick. A long time ago in cold regions, every household kept a Stoutland. It doesn't say anything about its fur being hard or defensive. It says that it keeps it warm. Why is Herdier the only one that has this like shell? Herdier is like an insect. Like what in the world? Does Lillipup have that? It's probably just going to talk about how Lillipup is a puppy. Why does only Herdier have that? The long hair around its face provides an amazing radar. Though it is a very brave Pokemon, it's also smart. This Pokemon has excellent judgment. Because it doesn't yelp, it's extremely possible. Okay, it doesn't say... Neither of them say anything about its hard shell. Why does only Herdier have this? Okay, I'm going to leave this. I will let this brew in my mind, this crazy revelation that Herdier has a shell of fur around its back. Anyway, let's move on to the actual topic of today, which is going over Sword and Shield and the history, not the history. You know, the hypeness that Herdier. God, I'm still thinking about Herdier, man. The updates that have come with this new game that's coming out on Friday. I'm very, very excited. So we're going to go over, first off, we're going to do a big list. So sorry if big lists are not me listing off lots of things is not your forte. But we're going to go over every Pokemon that has been revealed to be in Pokemon Sword and Shield. We have last time a while ago, I I think in the very first episode of Pokemon Sword and Shield, Let's Talk Galar, I talked about the Pokedex, and I listed every Pokemon that is in the Pokedex. And finally, we're going to go over the final list of Pokemon that is in the Pokedex. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. That was a very mismatched sentence, and it took me a very long time to get my thought out because I was looking up something, and I apologize. So if you want to compare this to the list that we had last time, these are all the Pokemon that have been revealed so far officially for Pokemon Sword and Shield that are in the Pokedex. So that is Grookey, Scorbunny, Sobble, Corviknight, Gossifleur, Eldegoss, Wooloo, Dreadnought, Yamper, Impidimp, Roly-Poly, who I forgot about, Alcremie, Duraludon, Morpeko, Galarian Zigzagoon, Galarian Linoon, Obstagoon, Cramorant, Poltegeist, Farfetch'd, Surfetch'd, Galarian Ponyta, Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard, Rip, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle lines apparently, Caterpie, Metapod, Butterfree, Pichu, Pikachu, Raichu. This is the new Pokerap, by the way. If this is my the plan for my recreation of the Pokerap. Cleffa, Clefairy, Clefable, Vulpix, Ninetales, Oddish, Gloom, Vileplume, Blossom, Diglett, Dugtrio, Meowth, Persian, Growlithe, Arcanine, Machop, Machoke, Machamp, Ghastly, Hunter, Gengar, Onix, Steelix, Tyrogue, Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, Hitmontop, Coughing, Wheezing, Galarian Wheezing, Rhyhorn, Rhydon, Rhyperior, Goldeen, Seaking, Magikarp, and Gyarados, Lapras, Ditto, Eevee, Vaporeon, Jolteon, Flareon, Espeon, Umbreon, Leafeon, Glaceon, and Sylveon, Munchlax, Snorlax, Hoothoot, Noctowl, Chinchou, Lantern, Togepi, Togetic, Togekiss, Natu, Xatu, Bonsly, Sudowoodo, Wooper, Quagsire, Wynot, Wobbuffet, Quillfish, Shuckle, Sneasel, Weavile, Swinub, Piloswine, Mamoswine, Remoraid, Octillery, Mantike, Mantine, Larvitar, Pupitar, Tyranitar, Lotad, Lombre, Ludicolo, Seedot, Nuzleaf, and Shiftry, Winkle, Pelipper, Ralts, Kirlia, and Gardevoir, and Gallade, Sableye, Mawile, Electrike, Manectric, Badoo, Roselia, Roserade, Wailmer, Wailord, Torkoal, Trapinch, Vibrava, and Flygon, Baltoy and Claydol, Feebas and Milotic, the Duskull, Dusclops, and Dusknoir, Snorunt and Glalie, Frostlass, Combee, Vespiquen, Cherubi, Cherim, Shellos, Gastrodon, Drifloon, Driftblim, Bronzor, Bronzong, Riolu, Lucario, Hippopotas, Hippowdon, Skorupi, Drapion, Croagunk, Toxicroak, Snover, Abomasnow, Rotom, Purloin, Leopard, Muna, Musharna, Pidove. Is it Pidove already? No. Tranquil, Unpheasant, Rock'n'Rolla, Boldore, Gigalith, Woobat, Swoobat, Timber, Girder, Conkeldurr, Timpole, Palpitoad, Seismitoad, Throw and Sock, Cottony, Whimsicott, Maractus, which I'm very happy about, Scraggy, Scrafty, Sigilif, Trubbish, Garbodor, Mincino, Cincino, Gothita, Gotharita, Gothitelle, Solosis, Duosion, Reuniclus, Vanillite, Vanillish, Vanillux, Carablast, Escavalier, No Shelmet, Frillish, Jellicent, Joltik, Galvantula, Ferroseed, Ferrothorn, Clink, Clang, and Clink Clang, Litwick, Lampent, Chandelure, Axew, Fracture, Haxorus, Golett, Golurk, Poniard, Bisharp, Rufflet, Braviary, Vullaby, Mandibuzz, Dinos, Wireless, Hydreigon. No Shelmet, huh? You're going to just add Carablast and Escavalier and no Shelmet? And how's that going to work? Whatever. I guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I guess it's not confirmed what Pokemon are and aren't yet completely, but like how in the world would you even evolve Carablast is what I want to know. Where did I stop? Bunnelby, Diggersby, Pancham, Pangoro, Asper, Meowstic, Honedge, Doublade, Aegislash, Swirlix, and Slurpuff. No Aromatisse and what's her face? Interesting. I forgot that Pokemon's name. The evolution to Aromatisse. Inkay, Malamar, Helioptile, Heliolisk, Haluka, Gumi, Sliggoo, Gudra, Phantom, Trevenant, Pumpkaboo, Gorgeist, Bergmite, Evelug, Noibat, Noivern, Grubbin, Charjabug, Vikavolt, Cutiefly, Ribombi, Wishy-Washy, Marini, Toxapex, Mudbray, Mudsdale, Moralil, Shinotic, Stuffle, Beware, Bounsweet, Steenie, Serena Wimpod, Glossopod, Pukamuku, Turtonator, Tojinamaru, Mimikyu, Drampa, Delmise, Jangmo-o, Hakamo'o, Komo'o, Zacian, Zamazenta, and Mew. Well, aside from spitting fire there for a moment, those are all of the Pokemon that are all the Pokemon we know of right now that are going to be in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Obviously the games are not released yet, and we don't have every Pokemon that is in the Pokedex. But as we know of right now, these are the Pokemon that are in Pokemon Sword and Shield right now, as far as we know. Also, it failed to mention the two new ones that I mentioned earlier, but that's pretty much it. And going with that, little update on what we know, I'm going to go through and talk a little bit about my feelings about the Pokedex, because certainly there's a lot of things that can be said, a lot of discourse going on towards the negativity that is surrounding Pokemon Sword and Shield and the lack of the National Pokedex. I don't really have an opinion on it, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, it's upsetting, and yeah, I'm pretty upset about a lot of Pokemon not being in. My favorite Pokemon's in, Glaceon, so like I'm not super upset. But obviously there's a lot of Pokemon that could be in, that should be in. Every Pokemon should be in. What am I even saying? But every Pokemon is not in. If I remember correctly, they did this with X and Y, or at least not every Pokemon could be found in X and Y. I mean, actually, that's not true, because I don't think that every Pokemon could be found in any Pokemon game coming to this. And I think what people are upset with Sword and Shield is that, Pokemon can't be transferred from old games into Sword and Shield, which is something that, is arguably bad. I think is very, very bad, because one, I'm just worried about how it's going to affect competitive Pokemon. I don't think that people are going to be playing Pokemon competitively in Pokemon Sword and Shield, which I think is very, very unhealthy for the fan base as a whole, unless they tend to change that in the future, which I sure do hope so. Maybe my theory is that they're going to add the Pokedex eventually, when they add some sort of way of transferring Pokemon from, say, like Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and also the 3DS titles to Sword and Shield, because as I know now, I might be wrong, as I know now, there is no way of doing so. So we'll just have to see in the future. I highly doubt that they will, but I could be wrong, of course. I'm pretty surprised at a few of the choices, like none of the starters except for Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard, because of Gigantamax Charizard, which is frustrating, because like if any starters deserve to be in, it's the Kanto ones, but I suppose that's not how they're doing things around here. It seems like we have an equal amount from every region, which I'm not super upset about. Like, I noticed that there was a lot of Gen 5, which I don't know is true. I don't know the numbers. It just seemed like Gen 5 went on for a long time when I was listing them off. I could go back and count them, but I'm not going to have you go through that. But it's interesting to see. It's very nice to see that at least they're not just completely discrediting any of the regions. It seems like Sun and Moon had kind of a lack, but that's just because Sun and Moon has a lack anyway. It only has like not a few. I mean, it has quite a bit, but it has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 lines, including individual Pokemon, 14 lines, including individual Pokemon. So like 30, 40, I guess 30 is quite a bit, because there was only like 70 Pokemon revealed. So I guess that's actually quite good. It seems like maybe about like a third of every Pokemon, every region is in, which is not great, obviously, but it's better than, I guess, it's better than nothing. I think the most important thing is that it doesn't seem like any of the regions are overarchingly more surplus than the others. That might not be true. Like I said, I haven't looked at the numbers. Gen 1 does, of course, seem to be have a lot of Pokemon, but that's Gen 1. That's Kanto for you. We have a lot of good new Galarian Gen 1 Pokemon. That's certainly a thing that influences it. But that's there's things to be said about everything, and I think that I don't think we should dwell too much on it and just see how things go in the future is my final stance. It is upsetting, but I think the only thing that it'll affect is people transferring Pokemon from other games. I don't think that it will affect the game itself per se, the story, because like X and Y only had a limited amount of there's regional dexes and national dexes. And I think that even if every other Pokemon game had a regional dex, only had the regional dex, I don't think things would have been as bad. There was a quote from somebody, if I can find it. I think it was Shofu. Yeah. So I have this tweet. I remember I wanted to talk about this tweet because I saw this tweet today by Shofu. And thank you, Shofu. It said I said I was excited to play Sword and Shield yesterday, and hella people were shocked because in their minds these games are dog crap and unplayable. When in reality, if some mediocrity was enough to get me to stop playing Pokemon, I would have stopped in 2014, which is. And then he continues and says, I've always been vocal about how trash Pokemon has been far before most of you, but I don't need to let that ruin my entire experience. And it's really just that simple. Some bad things don't entirely negate all the good. There's plenty of good, especially competitively. At the end of the day, it's just about what you find important to you. I can somewhat disregard some, excuse my French, dick-ass graphics because that's not the most important thing to me when I play Pokemon. And that's seemingly been the case for most of us until this year. The fun we have with friends and interactions to have with each other have always carried the Pokemon experience. And the stuff people are complaining about would hardly change that if they only look past some of it. Not that we should ignore it. It is true that a lot of the crap in Sword and Shield is absolutely unacceptable in this day and age. What I'm saying is that it is entirely impossible to acknowledge that and still be excited to play the game and even enjoy the game, you freaks. And somebody in the comments, breaking news, new Pokemon game is still a new Pokemon game and will be fun. And that's sort of my mentality going into Sword and Shield because I've chosen to ignore the negatives. Not ignore. I've chosen to disregard the negatives because Pokemon is Pokemon to me. And I don't think that Pokemon will ever be bad unless, the day I think that Pokemon is bad is the day that pigs fly. And I think that Pokemon will always be good just because it's Pokemon. And other people might find that opinion, not suitable to their own. But I think that, in my opinion, Pokemon will always be Pokemon. And I will always enjoy Pokemon because it's Pokemon. And I think that, like Shofu said, it's what's important to you, and that is important. And Pokemon is important to me because it's Pokemon, because of the experiences I've had, the Pokemon I love, my friends, the friends I've made along the way, and not to be sappy here, but just the absolute blast I've had with Pokemon across the years. And I think that more people should look at it that way. And so that is my opinion. I am, of course, in no way disregarding the negative things that are in Pokemon Sword and Shield. I just choose not to have a great opinion on them because they don't affect me as much as they may other people. That's why I've been kind of silent about things right now. But I hope that you can accept that and understand my point of view and why I've been quiet about my opinions about things and why I'm just so darn excited about Pokemon Sword and Shield. Anyway, let's move on. So we're going to go through a little bit of a history. Just disregarding all of that sappy and not controversial, that stuff that we just talked about. I am going to go through a little bit of a history in the revealing of Pokemon Sword and Shield and how things have gone. And then I think we're going to end the episode there. So when Sword and Shield was first revealed to us, it was that little trailer. Was it at E3? It definitely wasn't at E3. Was it at E3? Let me look. Pokemon E3. I don't think it was at E3. No, it definitely was not E3. They showed other things at E3. When did they show? When was Sword and Shield announced? June 5th. Right. Nope, that's when it was revealed that it would be released on November 15th. When was it revealed? Pokemon Sword and Shield announced in February 2019. Right, okay. February 2019. So February. It's been a long time. It has been since February that we have gotten Pokemon Sword and Shield announcements. It started out with... So I looked up the kind of Pokemon's Twitter way of showing these new announcements, the quote-unquote Galar Research update, which is what I tried to look for, all of them. I could only find up to a little bit of them because of the way that Twitter works. So unfortunately, we're only going to get a glimpse of some of them. But I do have a little bit of memory of the Pokemon Sword and Shield updates. So first, we got the starters. We got Scorbunny, we got Sobble, and we got Grookey. That was in that little cinematic that they made for February 2019. And then after that, we saw Wooloo. We saw Corviknight, we saw Dreadnought, we saw a few of the other Pokemon, the very first of the Pokemon that are going to be revealed. That was, I think, a few weeks or like a month or so after the reveal, or maybe even in the same direct. I'm not 100% sure. No, I remember we got the direct, and then later we got some new stuff. And then I believe we got information on Rose, the Chairmaster Rose, and some NPCs like the rival and the other rival and all that stuff. And then we got, I think that was around when we got like Roly-Coly and let me look at Cerebee's. So I think we got Corviknight, Gossifleur, and Wooloo and Dreadnought all at the same time. And then later we got Yamper. We got Eldegoss. Or no, I think Gossifleur and Eldegoss might have been revealed in the same direct. But we got Yamper. Yamper was leaked, and then Yamper was officially revealed a little bit later. But we also got Roly-Coly. We also got Alcremie and Duraludon. And then I believe later that was when we started to get Galarian Pokemon like Zigzagoon, Linoon, Obstagoon, and Morpeko, I believe, was revealed around then, too. And also Galarian Weezing, I think, was revealed then. Actually, we can look at the Galarian research. So the first Galarian research that I can find is from August 7th. So this is when we got Galarian Zigzagoon, Galarian Linoon, and Obstagoon. We also got Morpeko. This is when we got Bede, or Bede. I don't know how to pronounce their name. And then we also got Team Yill then, with and Marnie, with the release of and Galarian Weezing, with the release of Galarian Linoon and Zigzagoon. And then after that, we got Pokemon Camp and Cramorant and Poltegeist. I'm watching them right now. I know this is a little bit, this is just me kind of listing off things that we've gotten, but it's always nice to kind of take a little bit of a look back at things that we've had in the past, and look at the things that we didn't know then. So this is when we had the Pokemon Camp announced. And also good for me because a lot of things I kind of forgot. And maybe you too. So it's kind of good to go back and look back at the things that are coming up in Pokemon Sword and Shield to kind of hype up my excitement, and your excitement, hopefully, for the Friday release. This is also when we had our customize your own league card, which I realize now is the thing that I was talking about a few episodes ago when they were like, oh, you can have like the background and stuff and the different poses. I didn't realize that they actually showed that. Maybe I'm just an idiot. I talked about that last time, like, oh my god, maybe you can have these like custom backgrounds and stuff. They literally revealed it in like in a direct, in an announcement. So I'm just a dummy. And then we got this was a little more recently. This was on October 16th. So we went from September 4th all the way to October 16th without a new update, or at least a Gala research update, which was the Gigantamax Pokemon, which we got, Pikachu, Charizard, Butterfree, Meowth. I think that's it. Something like that. And also, I believe that we got Max Raid Pokemon and also Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing pretty early on, too. That was like one of like the second things that they showed, if I remember correctly. And then after that, there was the one that was just... No, this is one that was dropped August 16th. Why is this so much later in the... So much later in the timeline. So there's the new items that were revealed. This is right after the reveal of Galarian Zigzagoon and such. The new items like the eject pack, like Galarian Weezing's new abilities, and also new Gigantamaxing things. There was, I think that's it. There was also the professor that was revealed sometime in the future. There was the Sonia Galarian Ponyta thing that happened at like early October, late September, which was fun. Very, very fun. I really enjoyed that. I forgot about that. Like the 24-hour, like the 12-hour reveal. And then I believe the most recent one that we had was the one that came out today. And then there was one before that was talking about things that you can do to improve your Pokemon stuff, like changing nature with mints, and also like calcium and stuff, which is something we already know about. EXP candies, which I don't think I ever talked about EXP candies, and the nature mints, which are very nice, very, very good in terms of competitive Pokemon. But of course, we're not going to be able to really have that with the Pokedex being so limited, but you already know how I feel about that. And then the last research update was I'm looking at the timeline again. The July 8th was when they revealed. This is the most recent one that I could find, actually. The July 8th was when we had the gym leaders, where Alcremie was released. So same with Yamper, Roly-Poly, and Pteranodon. And also Chairman Rose, Oleana, and also Bee, and Alistair. And also Gigantamaxing was revealed here. And also Gigantamax Corviknight and Dreadnought, I think. But yeah, anyway. So that's pretty much like the history, the timeline of when things were released. I know that was a little bit messy. I probably could have come up with a little more detailed thing explaining those. But yeah, that little bit of history. Like I said, this is more so just to get me and everyone else excited for the release dates. I, for one, am extremely excited about the releasing of Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I hope that little trip down memory lane helped you get a little more excited about Pokemon Sword and Shield. If you're listening to this before Pokemon Sword and Shield, and God forbid people listen to this after the release, but if not, then this has no. I hope you are enjoying Pokemon Sword and Shield and were excited about Pokemon Sword and Shield. But yeah, anyway, before we end the episode, I'm going to do the final segment for today. This episode, I'm sorry if I'm talking very quickly. I have to rush a little bit. I have some things I need to do, but so sorry if it's a little rushed. Sorry if I'm talking a little bit quickly. Think of it as just excitement for the releases. But yeah, I apologize for that. But anyway, before we continue on, the last thing before we end is the last segment of today's episode. Random Pokemon. Move Tutor. That's what I'm looking for. Move Tutor. The Move Tutor is the segment where we talk about a random move every episode, and the move on the chopping block today is Lava Plume, which is volcanic plume in Japanese. Interesting. Lava Plume is a damage-dealing fire-type move introduced in Generation 4. Lava Plume damages all Pokemon in double and triple battles, and it has a 30% chance of burning each of them. Lava Pool will destroy round rocks found in the background of battles. What? Really? Natural objects are a game mechanic in Pokemon X and Y. Wait, really? Things can like appear and happen in the effect? Like in the battle? I didn't know that was even a thing. There's like sand piles, snow piles, rocks, round rocks, Spiky Rock 1 and Spiky Rock 2. Interesting. I knew there was like the berry trees that drop berries. But apparently, Lava Plume will destroy the round rocks in the backgrounds of battles. Lava Plume is a special attack. It has a PP of 15, a power of 80, and an accuracy of 100. Lava Plume, let's go over some of the entries for Lava Plume. It says in Diamond and Pearl, 4th generation, it says an inferno of scarlet flames washes over all Pokemon in battle. It may also inflict burns. In Black and White and Black and White 2, it says an inferno of scarlet flames torches everything around the user. It may leave the target with a burn. And in X, Y, or S, Sun and Moon, and Ultra Sun and Moon, the user torches everything around it in an inferno of scarlet flames. This may also leave those hit with a burn. So, nothing really too insane, but hey, yeah, that's pretty much it. There's no trivia or anything on Lava Plume. It's just a plume of lava. It's just an explosion. Nothing really else to say. Honestly, it's just Lava Plume. It's not really any kind of, it's an interesting because with the priority in double battles with Gen 3 and Gen 4, or at least a lot, kind of cream of the crop with double battles in Generation 4. It's only necessary that they add a few moves like Lava Plume that affects every Pokemon around them. And I think that they did that more in Gen 3 and Gen 4, obviously. And also in Gen 5, they introduced new moves for, triple battles and such. So, anyway, that is going to do it for me today. Please be sure, if you like this podcast, please be sure to give me a follow on Twitter, at Extreme Evocast on Twitter, and also my main, at Lillieceon on Twitter. Also be sure to check out my YouTube channel, which is Lillieceon, where I upload episodes of Extreme Evocast and also more kind of gaming style stream highlights mostly for my streams. And speaking of that, please also be sure to check out my stream or my Twitch at twitch.tv/Lillieceon. Like I said, on this Friday, on the release of Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, I'm going to be playing Sword and Shield, or Sword, with a blind Nuzlocke, which I'm very, very excited about. So at midnight on the release. So please be sure to check that out if you enjoyed, and please be sure to give a review on iTunes. Reviews on Apple Podcasts and on iTunes really helps out in increasing my audience. So that is going to do it for me today. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I will talk to you next time. Bye.